And what do you sacrifice?
Calm, kindness, kinship, love. I've given up all chance at inner peace. I made my mind a sunless space. I share my dreams with ghosts. I wake up every day to an equation I wrote 15 years ago for which there's only one conclusion. I'm damned for what I do. My anger, my ego, my unwillingness to yield, my eagerness to fight, that set me on a path from which there's no escape. I yearn to be a savior against injustice without contemplating the cost, and by the time I look down, there's no longer any ground beneath my feet. What is my sacrifice? I'm condemned to use the tools of my enemy to defeat them. I burn my decency for someone else's future. I burn my life to make a sunrise that I know I'll never see. Now, the ego that started this fight will never have a mirror or an audience or the light of gratitude. So what do I sacrifice? Everything, 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 everything.
I mix what I like, what I like, what I like, what I like, what I like. All right, everybody. What's up, world? Excuse me. Welcome back to I Mix What I Like right here on Black Power Media. I am joined by Ricky Ryan and our very special guest, Ashley Graham of Sweety's Coffee. We are getting started late, so I start off with an apology to everybody involved. And the worst of it is our team got trounced. The ref was late, and baby girl walked off with a slight injury. So it was a complete wash of a whatever, of a guest, and it was a guest visit. That's the worst part of it. So,
I'm sorry.
but thanks to you and to Sweety's Coffee in my cup, I am rebounding. Everybody is good. I am very happy to have you both joining us, and please, everybody, like, share, subscribe, and invite everybody to come on in. How are you both? Let me start there.
Well, I'm great. You know, it's always busy, nonstop. Just came back from a retreat, organizing a retreat to do this interview, and then got more stuff to do when I leave here. We have an event to table.
Right on.
Yeah, I'm doing good. It's always busy. It's always busy. I did a writing class this morning, so this is cool. It's just been a lot of running, but I'm happy to be here. But I'm doing well.
Excellent, excellent. So, Ashley, let's get started with just some of the basics. We were even talking about it earlier this morning with Renee, and she was asking, is Sweety's coffee shop? Oh, they go to thumbs. Is it what is going on? So give us the all I know is the basics, but I'm going to let you give us the rundown of the history of Sweety's Coffee, and yeah, we'll go from there.
Yeah, I wanted to know if you could also talk about the name, the significance of the name.
Mm-hmm.
Please.
Of course. So Sweety's Coffee, then I kind of like, of course, I brought my cup up. Sweety's Coffee really started in the pandemic. And I'll tell you a little bit about how that happened in the process. But Sweety's is a name that we affectionately gave to my great-grandmother, who I'm a great-grandmother's girl, and we were really best friends. And she's no longer with us, but we called her Sweetie because she was just, that's what she called everybody. She called everybody she met named Sweetie. She just called them Sweetie. So when I started drinking coffee around 3 or 4, I don't know, I cannot be the only kid that started drinking coffee that age, but we were young. I'll say about 3 to 5 age range. And so,
wow.
Yeah, so my great grandmother would let us come to the table and she'll make us baby coffee where she'll put a little coffee in there and then a lot of that powder cream and then some sweet low. That was her recipe. Like she percolated coffee on the stove, old school. And so that's how that came about. When I think about coffee, I often think about my great grandmother because she would have us at the table, me and my brother and sister, and we were all like 2 years apart. So we were young. but she would laugh with us. We would have a good time. We'd be having a conversation, and we just felt grown because we had coffee. And so when I link coffee and I think of coffee, I think about my great grandmother Sweetie, and so that's where that came from, Sweeties, and we just built it from there. But that's going to give you the background of the name. How we started was during the pandemic. There was a lot going on with Starbucks. And so I was just tired of hearing about Starbucks. And if anybody know me, they know I love coffee. I've always loved coffee. I call myself a coffee snob. And so there was just so much going on with Starbucks. And I was like, you know what? We just need to be able to have something where we can support coffee, where, we know where the money's going and that we support the initiatives and all of that. And so that was my initial thought. And at the time, there weren't any coffee shops open. And then the coffee that I did get, I don't know if you guys are coffee snobs like me, but when I drink coffee, when I put K-cups or anything in a coffee, I can tell if it's strong or not just by looking at how the water brew into the coffee pot. So when the water's going down, I'm like, if it's not dark, it's not strong to me. It's not bold enough. And so after, doing a lot of coffee at home, I realized, there's nothing really on the market that I like. And since I'm not doing Starbucks anymore, let me try to figure this out. And so we took that idea and we couldn't find anything. We decided ourselves to go with distributors and figure out how we can get our own coffee out there. And so that's how Sweeties, we came up with that concept. It was just a thought. And then we were just, crazy enough to do it because we just got tired of not finding the coffee. And then we started doing some flavors. And we was like, well, people like flavors too. So let's, give them some flavors. And it's been on since we started doing online orders, and it's been crazy. The launch of it, when we first launched it, we had so many orders that it shut the website down. And we're actually in the works of getting a cafe now. So we are in different remote places of different bakeries and cafes. One in North Carolina. We also in a cafe in Annapolis Mall in Maryland at this place called Freaking Sweet Jars, which is a Black-owned woman and her husband. They have a dessert company. So we're moving to a cafe soon. So just stay tuned for that. But that's pretty much, we're online. We ship anywhere in the U.S. You can get your coffee, you can get your rewards and all of that. And so we have some spring flavors out as well. So as you can see.
You know what I was thinking of when the question was asked if there was any coffee shop. I remember you and the girls, I think Chris had made in the kitchen. There was like a Swee's mock coffee shop. Because Ash's daughters also drink coffee at a young age, actually. I did, maybe not 3 or 5, but I certainly, once the More Girls explosion happened, I was drinking coffee regularly.
Oh yeah, right. So you were drinking it regularly. It's like when you know, right? But yeah, my husband made us like a mock cafe during the pandemic. So we felt like we were actually going to a cafe, because I love cafes too. I love sitting in cafes and reading a book, so we felt like we was in a cafe. But we felt like we were there. And that's my whole goal, is to get cafes everywhere and just make it a community where everybody can come and just enjoy themselves and, not have to worry about getting all this flag about being in there, who you are, or what you are. Like, I just want to have a community where we can have coffee, enjoy a good conversation. So that's my goal.
Oh, right on. I just, while I was on the website, I noticed that I just was reminded I need to get more. So I'm about to
that's always a good thing.
Get another order. So yes, for now it's again, the link is already in the show description to the website, and it's very easy to order, a lot of different varieties. First of all, I'm shocked you could find, I've never found a K-cup worthy of an actual, being called an actual cup of coffee. I mean, I'll use them on an emergency. That's how much of a snob I've become.
Yeah.
But they're almost impossible to. I've never found one that's strong enough. So if I'm usually like in a hotel or something, it's like 5 of them.
Yeah.
To get,
Well, I definitely understand that. I think that personally, K-cups is a lot of money. First of all, so you're actually spending more money if you get K-cups, but people are really just paying for the convenience. And I feel the same way. Some brands, K-cups just don't do it. I can tell when they come out, it's not going to be strong. And so I definitely understand. I use I tell people, you actually can save money by have you used the refillable K-cups, like the ones that you can put your own coffee in?
Mm-mm.
So that's better because you can put your own coffee in there and use it for your Keurig, or you're not.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I tell people get that. I think we sell it. We were selling on the website. It may be still on there, but I was telling people, save your money. Don't buy the K-Cups. Buy the little refillable ones, and you can put the coffee in there. You get more for your money, and you get to, fill it the way you want. So I would look into that.
I'm about to get a shirt first, and then I will
Get you a shirt.
I will look for what this product you're talking about there, whatever that is.
Yeah. You got to get one of those refillable ones. Don't get a reusable. It's called reusable K-Cup. So it works a lot better.
So I was also happy to get to talk with you because I'm also fascinated about the business side of things. I mean, admittedly I'm often more involved in some sort of critique of Black capitalism or some idea of the what I would think is the overblown sense of what a business can do for the entire community. But I'm wondering from this, I don't often get the chance to actually talk with business owners in this way. So Black business owners in particular. So I'm wondering if from that side of things, how has it been? I mean, what would you, maybe I would ask, what since you've started the business have you learned, or has anything surprised you about the business side of setting up an operation like this?
Not so much. I call myself like a serial entrepreneur. So I do have a few businesses. So this is not it's not my first.
Okay.
I have a few things. I have a publishing company. I started in business as being a publisher. So I publish books. And then from that, I started a nonprofit called Generation Right Now, which is a writing program we have in different schools at the moment. And then from there, my daughter's a DJ, so we have a media group. So it's so much. So I can literally say, like, if you were going to talk about coffee specific, I definitely can go into that. But an overall journey as a business owner, they all had their lessons learned. I can definitely sit with each one. I kind of look at them like children, because it's like, this one needs this, and then this one needs that. So I've learned with all businesses from my first one, the publishing, is basically saying, like, a lot of times people want business, but they don't have the structure strong enough to take on new clients or new customers or all of that. And so I've learned with Sweeties firsthand, like, we got to get a better system in place, because we were overwhelmed by it. Our first week we sold out, but I was so overwhelmed because we didn't have a good system in place. And so then I started saying, man, maybe we should stop promising people to get it to them overnight, because our process so the difference between our coffee and other coffees, I would say, is that we do not have shelf life. Like, that's why I won't do any distribution with stores. I know what distribution costs look like. A lot of times customers are like, yeah, make it in the stores, but they don't understand your coffee will be on the shelf for months. So that's why you're not getting fresh coffee. And then you're dealing with distribution costs. So you're putting in there, you're going to pay for your stuff to be on the shelf. And then they're gonna charge it back to you if they don't sell it. So you're just losing money all around. And I just wanted to be smarter. So I felt like this business model was a little smarter, because we're able to give customers fresh coffee. We don't have to worry about the distribution, because we're actually handling all of that. But we learned really early that we should communicate that to our customers, like put it in the when they're buying, let them know that we have up to 7 days, because we are making it fresh. So whatever you get, flavors and all of that, all of our coffee is fresh. And so we don't necessarily, we're not doing what other people are doing, our packaging stuff, pre-packaging them up a lot, because when you do that, you risk the chance of your coffee just not being fresh. And so I like to say as far as what I learned early, is to communicate that, and then create a system where we're involving our customers. So a lot of times we got a lot of business really early, because people knew me, they knew I drank coffee. So I was kind of like a walk-in billboard. It's like everything I did, I drank coffee so much. So, just building up the confidence. So if I say I drink coffee, the coffee better be good, right? So we did a lot of testing of coffee, and I got a story, I almost passed out, because I used to, I had to call the ambulance. I will say that. Our coffee is strong. I was testing coffee, and I'm like, if I don't like it, if I don't think it's good, we're not putting it out there. So we had a lot of testers come over. I drank too much, and I had to call the ambulance, because literally I was about to pass out. So
damn.
Don't do that. Like, know your limit with your coffee.
You got to do it like wine, right? You gotta
a little bit
swig it around and spit it back out or something like that. Whatever wow.
Yeah. No one gave me that memo. Yeah.
That the Italian roast, the Italian espresso roast is what that's my thing.
That's your thing.
Because to your point, I like just straight. I'm not a big flavor, and to your point, when I see that it's not dark, if I can see the bottom of the glass or I can see deep into the cup, I'm like, oh man, it's so yours is great. It's
Thank you.
and if I really didn't like it, I would have just quietly not said anything.
Thank you.
So I mean, it really. I just want to add to that endorsement again. Like it is to So, and I could see if you were sitting there drinking this all day or whatever. Anyway, Erica,
I
did you want
appreciate that. Yeah. Yeah. I'm sorry.
No, I'm saying I'm happy that you did get to mention your other businesses, because that is something that I wanted to talk to you about as well. Ashley does wear a lot of hats, but I do want to give a little background of how I know Ashley Graham. I knew her before Graham, when she was Ashley Logan.
Before the Graham.
Yes.
Before the
Graham. We were actually we went to Arundel High School together. We were on the literary magazine club together.
Yeah.
I think the only two Black people.
Black
people on the lit mag, yeah. We both wrote poetry, and it was Ashley. Ashley has a fantastic. I think we were still in high school when you published your first book, or I might have already left, and you.
Yeah, I was my last year. Yep.
And Ashley knew that I was writing, and was like, "You should get published. You should get published." And like pushed until I did. So my first book, which is All the Love is Fair.
Yes.
So over here somewhere.
Which is a dope book.
It actually will be 10 years in October.
Oh, really?
Yes.
That's crazy. So now you know it's time for a second one, right?
That's what I heard.
Yeah. That's what anniversary, you gotta do that second one to celebrate.
Yeah. And then we had I'm like, listen, that's a whole lot of work. I don't know. Because self-publishing is what I learned is not an easy feat at all. And Ashley went that route, which is why she has a publishing company now to help people who are doing their own thing, self-publishing, because we went through that. That was not an easy thing. It sounds easy, but it is not. I mean, even down to the cover of my book was not something that, when you think about self-publishing, it's not even something that I had full control over either. But the publishing company that devolved actually has helped publish a tremendous amount of books. I know mainly faith-based books, I believe, but incredible amount of books that they have been published through that company. But more specifically, I think the best initiative that you have come up with was Generation Right Now. And it's funny because at the same time, Liberation Through Read It I just thought through it, and you all were just building out Generation Right Now. And I know the pandemic hit where we were actually supposed to do a connecting event. But Generation Right Now, the children write their own books. So they get to write their own stories, and it gets published. So they get each child gets their own book published. So they get to go through that whole process of what it is to write a book, like to think about ideas, to write a book down, and then to have it published and take it home. So the fact that it's grown from having like 3 or 4 kids come to your house to now you're in schools.
Yes.
With your brother, I think that is great. I don't know if you want to talk a little bit more about Generation Right Now.
Yeah. I would love to. I always talk about Generation Right Now. We had actually, and I appreciate that. I really appreciate that. It has definitely grown. And it really started when publishing. I used to do these writing classes, and then I would do these publishing platforms for adults. I would say, hey, come up. You want to know how to publish, and you want to hear the ins and outs. I would just book a room at the library and then put the invitation out, and whoever came, and I talked about publishing. Well, one author who came, she had a son there, and he was asking how old you had to be to publish a book. And I never really got that question before, because I was like, how old? There's no age limit. And I'm like, you can do one right now. And that's where Generation Right Now came from, because at that point, he wanted to write a book. And I'm like, you don't really need an age. You don't have to be an adult to write a book. And so from that, he wanted to know more information about publishing. And learning about his story, he was kind of like the face of the program for a while, because he was dealing with behavior issues in school. He was suicidal. He had all of these things. And he's a grown man now, like he's grown now. But at the time, I realized, working with young people, I really enjoy it. But also at the time when kids are kind of finding themselves, I found writing, just like you were, when we were in school, like a lot of those things, like when you're writing poetry, you're kind of dealing with inward things. And that's your way of expressing it. And then I found like with kids, they're having the same emotions we're having, but they just don't have a way to express it. And so it's showing up in different ways. And so with Generation Right Now, we had an opportunity to work with kids, not just who enjoyed writing or reading, but those who just needed an expression or a way to express themselves. And so from there, we've been doing pilots for years. We've been just trying to get some schools to join forces with us, because we wanted to be able to go into schools with kids who look like us. Because what you're finding in a lot of these aftercare programs or after school programs, they have programs, but they have kids who just don't look like the people that's there. And I find that if they can connect and see someone that connect with them, I can read their story and I can understand it. I can get it. You ain't got to tell me, you ain't got to explain to me what that poem means, where you have to explain it to somebody else. And so we have grown to get into counties, and I'm still, we have so many people advocating for us, which I'm so grateful for, because my goal is to be able to provide not just a platform for them to publish, but for them to express themselves. And so we're doing it. I'm collaborating. Like I love collaborating with you, with being able to get these books out, because I know how it is. Even dealing with these books are expensive for one, and they're not going down. Like they keep going up. You know what I'm saying? So being able to get kids, access to books and being able to build their own library, which, I've always had a love for writing and love for reading, is amazing. So your initiative alone, I'm like, we need that. We need kids to be able to have access to good books, new books, So I love that you do that. But that's pretty much a Generation Right Now have started. We're growing. We're just also collecting more people. Like we're doing more, drawing artists. We want to expand into podcasting, all of that. Give them opportunities to creatively express themselves. So we're getting there. We're getting there.
Now that's all dope. That's very.
Thank you.
I did want to, if I can, I do want to come back to there's, well, one thing before I forget. I was commissioned to, not commissioned per se, commanded to ask if there's a way we can partner on not only with the BPM platform. I don't know if there's like Sweetie sponsorship arrangements or relationships, and then specifically also with the Earn Your Liberation crew with our first live event coming up in Baltimore at Nomu on the 19th of May.
Wow.
We wanted to see if we could do something, have some sort of partnership with you on that as well.
Of course.
So I don't know. So
I mean, Ashley's a God-fearing woman now.
She's a
She's a God-fearing woman now.
Okay.
Oh, give me more information.
Now what that sponsorship? She'll play about the church. She'll play about the Lord.
What am I agreeing about? Yeah, that should have been a question. Thank you. I'm agreeing to something I shouldn't.
No, you good.
It's just that we're a bunch of heathens. 2/3 of us are a bunch of heathens. That's at least that's the problem.
That's the problem.
And it's just degrees of aggressiveness with that heathenness. That's all. So yeah, that's funny.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Your husband might actually enjoy this show. I'm thinking you might actually. It's on.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, let's talk about it. We could definitely talk about it.
So having done that, so I did also want to ask specifically. You mentioned I forgot exactly what you said, but I did want to ask about where. In fact, it was brought up again this morning. How do you source your coffee? How do you deal with the politics of all of that? And yeah, could you talk with us a little bit about that part of the?
No problem. So my husband, he's actually he's the person that's responsible for finding the distributor that we work with as far as sourcing. And so that takes research, basically. Like I said, when I say pass out, I mean I've been trying all kind of coffees from all distributors, right? And we decided to go with something local because when it's local, it's fresh, and that's their guarantee, is 100% fresh. And so we partner with them to make sure that whatever they're giving us is going to be fresh. And so Is that my camera? Sorry.
Yeah, I was going to say, is everybody seeing that? Am I?
It's my camera. I don't know what's going on. It's just like flickering. But working with a local roaster, that's how we've been doing the distribution. And then putting the twist on our own kind of flavors. That's how we work as far as getting the flavors. We also have another partnership with oils. So the difference between our flavors that we don't flavor with, like some people use syrups. We use oil because oil actually, if you drink this first sip to the last bit at the end of your cup, you're going to still taste the flavor. Syrup is very like oil, which is why a lot of people don't do it. But I say it's worth. It makes it like premium coffee. So we use oil instead of syrup because we don't. I think syrup is just lightly based. You drink it, you'll taste it for a little bit, but you don't really taste it. And so that's the difference between our coffee as well. Is that when we do our flavors, we did some research for this too and partner with the right people to get that. So it's really just finding the right people, finding the right quality. Quality to me is more important than the quantity. And so, if you go on our website, of course, our coffee price is different than when you go to the grocery store, but that's because we do everything premium. It's not something like we're putting our quality in it. So
is it though? I mean, I appreciate you, I guess, admitting that or acknowledging that, but is it really that?
Well, I mean, it depends what you're used to, but if you're a coffee
that
snob,
is true, right? I'm a little bit of a snob, so I can't just be buying whatever. But I mean, but if you've, so I will say then if you already consider yourself a little bougie with your coffee, I don't think that whatever the price difference is, I don't think is noticeable. And again, as a sort of labor movement baby, I was raised on the idea you're supposed to pay a little bit more if you care about the labor involved in it, and if you're particularly interested in supporting a Black-owned business.
Yeah.
If there's a little bit of so be it. But yeah, I really didn't notice. Like I didn't when I hit click on whatever, I didn't feel like that extra little bit of
Yeah, some people do. Some people do, and I don't get offended. I'm like, you like what you like, and you're used to spending a certain, amount. I'm, hey, do you? I like coffee all across the board, so I'm not just hung up on my coffee. I just like, if I'm drinking somebody else's coffee, people are like, I thought you had a coffee business. I was like, yeah, but I love coffee in general. So if it's good, I'm gonna drink it. Of course, my coffee I drink all the time. I love it. I haven't got tired of it. So. Being a coffee snob, I do like it, but I do understand that some people are used to spending a certain amount. Like you go get Folgers, and then you go to our website, right? If you get like
drink Folgers.
Yeah, but if they drink it, they go to our website, they're gonna be like, oh, y'all a little pricey. So I do notice, that might be the issue for some people, so. I think we do put the quality in it, but I do try to make sure we're not like, we keep it reasonable for people, but I don't reduce the quality. If we got to reduce the quality, I'm just not going to offer it.
Definitely appreciate that part as well.
But I don't know if I answer your question.
I mean, mainly where do you source it from?
Yeah.
And like political, do you consider the politics around it? Because one of the things that I think people are asking about, if you outsource it from like outside the country, do you think about things like that? Do you connect? Because I've been in Nicaragua a few times to those cooperatives. I brought some beans back. They always encourage us to help us sell it because it does help them. They're 90% food sovereign, so it is something that they do. But I don't know to what extent you all like reach out to outside. Like I'm obsessed with Cuban coffee to the point where I don't even drink coffee in the US now.
Yeah.
Damn. I mean, to a whole new level.
Yes,
I love it.
All of it is bad.
Yeah.
But people I think mentioned Ethiopian coffee and Kenyan coffee and things like that. I know you have the Italian espresso.
Right.
Considerations for like other flavors or other locations or things like that.
Yeah, and you know what? That's my next level because I haven't, to be honest, when we started doing this, it was really limited. I won't say limited research, but I would say it wasn't to the extent of finding where their resource. So I know where the distributor get theirs from, but we do like Costa Rican coffee, we do the Italian espresso, and then we just started doing Colombian because someone suggested it, right? But we haven't done the extent to where we're tracing it back, like you're talking about. But I've been in different Black owners, Black coffee owners groups, and some do. And so I'm always interested in that because it's literally tell a story. All of this traces back to a root. And so a lot of times listen to their stories of how they do it. It makes perfect sense. And that's eventually what I want to do, because right now I know the demand was so high at one point that I was like, oh, we need to be able to make sure we get that here, you know, and the roster that we have is local. But to your question, we have not gone to that extent just yet.
No, well, I'm glad for all that you've been doing, because I'll admit, you know, and I get flack for this given that I claimed I'm a snob, but I do think in terms of popularly accessible coffee, the reality was for me that Starbucks did make the best espresso roast coffee.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I was, you know, committed to you know, the boycott and avoiding it, I spent a lot of time going all over the place looking for all kinds of options.
Yeah.
And really was struggling to find the equivalent until I found yours.
Really?
Specifically.
Wow.
Straight up. I mean, and I've gone at least in this area of Maryland. I mean, I'm not going to try to, I haven't left the continent or the country as Ricky and others have in terms of. No, I mean, I haven't gotten that far in terms of importing my coffee or however they're managing it. I have to get some details on how you all pull that off. But,
They send it with us. They encourage us. Take it and share and tell people to buy.
So that we need to somehow get a partnership, a Sweeties Cuba partnership or something. And, but yeah, so seriously, I mean, I was all over the place to all the bougie hippie sort of, rich white spots that are out here. I was going everywhere. I was like, and nobody trying everything.
Wow.
I'm constantly disappointed.
Yeah, because espressos is one of those things you have to get right. Mm-hmm. Because you can tell them. So I want to ask you, how do you make your espresso? I'm curious. You know?
So even then, so at this point, I'm at the sort of the lowest, just a basic drip filter coffee machine.
Okay.
All the other more expensive and varieties of presses and stuff, I've either broken them and not replenished, or one got damaged in a move. All kinds of. So I'm at I got to keep it. So I know there are levels to this. So I want to acknowledge to the coffee drinking community. I know there are levels to this. I don't have,
I'm going to tell you those levels. Huh? I was going to say, Ashley's going to tell you those levels.
I'm sure.
Even the way Ashley arranges hot chocolate, I was like, oh, shit.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I'm a little funny about it, but to be honest, can I be honest with coffee, the coffee pots and all of that? I think the Mr. Coffee has done me better than any expensive coffee machine I could ever think of. I swear, I went through. Nice. I can't tell you how many coffee pots I go through in 1 year. It's ridiculous. But I've learned the more expensive it is, the more sensitive it is. So it really, my whole house. My mom lived with us. She's a coffee fanatic. My husband's a coffee fanatic. We're using it all day, every day. And so a lot of times it can't handle all of that traffic. You know, Keurigs don't last in our house. We give it a lifespan of 6 months at the most. It's just too much to handle it. And we know that now when we buy it. We're like, this is going to last for 6 months. But when you start talking about the espressos, you know what I like making my coffee? The percolator. When I'm home on Saturdays, I put the coffee percolator on my stove and I make my coffee on that, because my grandmother and them used to make it on there, but it keeps it hot. Like these coffee makers don't make your coffee as hot as it used to, you know? So I listen, I love good coffee machines, but I haven't had really good luck with many of them. So
yeah, right on.
I like the way you make that.
Okay, yeah. You know, I mean, sometimes, you know, it does have the grinder option on it. So sometimes if I'm feeling, you know, extra special, but with your service, I've been ordering it ground, just you know, and then sometimes it's just the rush. It's the household is busy. It's a lot going on. I don't, you know. And then one time I remember at the one of these soccer moms, got a little conversation with her. She was like, here's what you should get. And I played it off. I'm not going to front. I played it off, but I went home and looked it up. It was like $2,500, and I was
What?
like, I don't.
What
Yeah, it was one of
was it?
these like. It was one of these like. I want to call it like what you would see in a Starbucks. It was like
Okay.
if you were going to have a barista set up in your house, because
Yeah.
we got into a conversation. I made a little joke about being. Honestly, I thought it was like a one off, and I'm moving on about being a bougie coffee drinker, and
Right.
I kind of got politely, no disrespect, roped in a little bit to the conversation, and then she said, oh no, this is what you need if you're as serious as I am.
Oh my
And
God.
then I was like, I looked at it, took the name, and later looked it up. Was like, no, I'm not that serious.
That's different level. That's a different commitment. I tell people when they
So
ask me about that, I'm like, literally, Mr. Coffee has a good espresso maker as well, machine, because I have a friend, she moved in and she was looking up, she got a Mr. Coffee one. And I try to go in and help them set up their coffee, makers and all of that. But it makes a good espresso. So I tell people, don't knock just because the price is low, don't knock it. But look at the reviews too. But it doesn't necessarily mean the price means it's good. It just means it's more sensitive.
no, if you start off with good, clean, cold water and you get good coffee, I think you're good to go. And then that's it. So
that's it. That's the key.
So listen, go ahead, Eric.
No,
Yeah.
she was saying that it doesn't leave the coffee is hot now, and my mother in the morning microwaves that coffee at least 10 times.
See?
In just one cup, because
yes,
as soon as she puts it down, it gets cold. So, like if she's not constantly drinking it, then she has to put it back in the microwave, heat it up.
Doesn't make sense. Yeah, it doesn't make sense. It changes your coffee too when you do that. So it's like, sometimes I just wish like some of these machines would like be hotter. Like especially the Keurig is just, you get it as soon as you get out, you gotta hurry and drink it because it's gonna be cold because it doesn't, it's not hot. Mm-hmm. So yeah, the percolator never done me wrong. Actually, when I drink out of the percolators are like $20. If you go get it, the $20. If you can go to a regular store and get a percolator, but you can put it on the stove. It's gonna take you at least 10 minutes to be able to sip it without burning yourself. And so, that's another option for you. You can put your espresso coffee in it, and it literally is just like a coffee pot. You put it on there and you perk it, and it'll show up on a little glass. So that's how you know it's ready. It takes about like 10 minutes. So I suggest that. I mean, if you really want to go old school and get some hot coffee, that's a good way to do it.
I will give that a shot. I don't mind that. And although I will say that when I like coffee, again, I don't mean to overdo it, but as when I'm drinking yours, I don't mind when it gets cold. I'll drink it cold.
Okay. Tell me more.
Yeah.
Right.
No, seriously. I'll just let
Okay.
like what I'm drinking here is the coffee I started with this morning. And yeah, for a while it was in my little thermos, but at this point it's about lukewarm and I'm good with that. I'm because the coffee's good. That's the point. I don't need it to be masked by heat.
Okay.
So like obviously hot is better, but that's my point. If you got to hurry up and drink it because you can't drink it cold, to me that's a sign it's not the real thing.
Okay, well we'll take that. I'll take that review.
Yeah.
I would take that review. I'll tell people being a mom, you never drink hot coffee anyways. It's like you don't eat hot food and you don't drink coffee hot. So
well, that's true. That's a good point. Yeah.
I'm used to it, but that's good to know. I'm gonna definitely keep that into account. I think it's just a culture. Like if you're not drinking iced coffee, then coffee is expected to be piping hot. I remember going to Starbucks and just saying, "Can you make my coffee extra hot?" That's how I order all my coffee, extra hot. Because I mean that if they're doing like cream, then they would steam the cream. Because if not, they're just gonna straight put your cream and stuff in there, which makes your coffee, lukewarm by the time you get it. So. Yeah.
So listen, I'm not entirely sure what your time is like, and I know we started late, but and I also know that you are expansive. So those were the coffee specific questions I had. I don't, Erica, if you wanted to, if there were other elements or areas of your business world that you wanted to talk about or other work, I'm happy to sort of tag along for that as well.
So Ashley mentioned she's a mom, but she's a mom of 3.
Yes.
She has 3 very active, beautiful girls.
Thank you.
But I did. You mentioned Christiana's DJing, so I didn't know if you want to talk a little bit about that, because it's a house full of entrepreneurs, and drinkers, and creatives. There's a studio downstairs now, I believe.
Yes, it is.
You said DJ.
DJ, yes. We should probably think about bringing Christiana on the show.
And she's a coffee drinker. She is. I'll tell you about, man. Well, thank you for bringing it up. Christiana is. She's 13 now. She just turned 13. But in the morning, I usually set my timer on my coffee pot to go off at like 5:36, because she's the first one to get up. So if that coffee pot ain't set, she's angry. Like, why nobody set the coffee pot? Why nobody? So I teach all my kids around 8 years old how to make coffee. Because I was like, if you know how to make coffee, you can entertain anybody. Like, you be good at any job. You go to a job, you know how to make coffee, you'll be able to make coffee for everybody if you need to, whatever. And so I taught all of them how to make coffee, especially for me. It was really personal, selfish, really. Like, go make me some coffee. Teach them math. For 1 cup, you get this, right? But my daughter, she's been DJ since she was 5. She's been really interested in DJ since she was 3. Always loved music. My husband had some turntables one time, and she just told him that she wanted to, scratch. And so we got her some turntables. He's like, he don't like when we call him this, but Joe Jackson, or, he don't like when I make that association. But what that means is, if the kids express anything, he's like, well, let's do it. Let's put them in a class. Let's do this. And so with her, he had bought these turntables. And I'm like, why would you buy turntables for her? Because she might change her mind. So she was 5. She started with these turntables. He said, if you do well with these, I'll buy you the ones where you can do the scratching. And she did. Like, the turntables were huge. And she, at 5 years old, she did her first event. We went to somewhere. The lady was like, I'm not going to pay her, but, this is good for her to volunteer. And I was like, that's cool, because, I don't want you to lose your money, because I don't know how she is with, this is her first engagement. She did that event. I mean, they had a DJ there. She put that DJ to shame. He was a grown man, and, she was doing her thing. She was on a little stool. She used to always DJ with a stool. So if you ever look behind her, she was always standing up on a stool, so she couldn't do too much. So she did that, rocked it. Ever since then, we hired someone to come teach her how to, because she wouldn't listen to my husband. Like, this is girls. I had 3 girls. You can tell them all day the same thing. Somebody else come and tell them the same thing. They're going to listen to them, because you don't know nothing. And so that's how she was teaching, treating my husband. Like, he was like, I'm trying to teach you timing and all of that. We had it. Nobody would take her because she was 5 years old. So all these DJ teachers was like, she's too young. She's going to break our needles. She's going to blah, blah, blah. So we was like, cool, we'll hire somebody. A DJ did come to the house for a while. We converted our garage in our old house into a studio. And so they would come and teach her, and they learned that she was good with BPM. She can tell you like what the song was, what BPM it was without seeing it. She can hear it and tell you, and it would be exact, which was crazy. And so the teacher was just like, oh my God, he would play something and ask her to play something back at the same BPM, and she would do it to the exact. And so long story short, she got old enough. We went to another place, a DJ spot, where this champion DJ, he was a competition DJ, took her in, and she's been with him ever since. And so she's a DJ for the Nats Stadium. She's a DJ she's been into the White House 3 years in a row, and she's just been doing events. She started out doing birthday parties, and that got old quick, because everybody got a birthday every day. And she was booked. And so we learned she wanted to focus on events. And so that's what she's doing now at 13. She's at the place now when people are booking her. She's booked for until November. But I tell people, when you book, when the year opens, you got to get on there early, because a lot of organizations are hiring her for conferences, and so she's booked and busy. But not just that, she takes it seriously. Like, she practices every day. I mean, like, you talk about like Kobe Bryant, all of them, like, practice. That's what she does. She's practicing, she's mixing, and she has a beat maker where she can make the music exactly what she's playing. And so she's serious about it, and she practiced. So that's my oldest. And then my middle child, she's a performer. So now she's into the creative arts. Like, she's drawing, she's acting, she's performing. And so this house is pretty creative. It's busy. I mean, if you don't hear my child, she's 2. She runs the house now. She's loud. We have a place where we try to let them be them. So each room in the house represents. We have a music studio downstairs, and then I have a library where, like I'm saying, if you want to read, you can read here, you can create here. And so we just make everything creative, because for me, My kids don't play sports, but they will play an instrument and they will draw and they will write. So that's what we're doing right now. I don't know what they plan to do, but definitely entrepreneur spirit. But for me, it's not even just the money. It's basically doing what you love to do and being valued for what you do.
That is, I mean, really, that is among the chief concerns, I think, for most, particularly parents, but anybody. The goal is to do as much as possible to get paid for what you love doing.
Yeah, yeah.
And with as few bosses as possible.
Yes.
So yeah, if you would just request that your daughter who DJs, if she would just sort of stack up on her go-go collection, all due respect to Baltimore, and then I'll try to get on the list. I've already missed for my 53rd. I'll try to get on for my 54th birthday, because my birthday's in September. I'm already too late for this year. So I have to sign up for a year out. But hey.
She loves go-go, by the way. But you know what? She's kind of mixed because she likes go-go and she loves club. So she loves.
It's okay.
Yeah, she
let's
loves
have it all.
She's a DMV kid.
Yeah.
Everywhere she go, and I gotta be careful. We go places. I'm like, where is this event? I'm like, you need to study your crowd. Like, let's figure out who's gonna be there because we need to know. Because she will put some club or something in a heartbeat. In even at the church events, she would have some club in there. I mean, there'd be some church club, but I'm like,
well, I was gonna say, I heard a go-go preacher recently.
Yeah.
So I mean.
Yeah. We can do go-go. I mean, if we God and Jesus in the go-go, but we want to make sure that they okay. You know, some people just still funny about walking that line. So you never know. We just try to make sure.
Zero chance Jesus would not appreciate the pocket. Zero chance. There's zero chance.
It could be on a shirt or something. I definitely agree. Yeah. You're right about that. No, I agree about that. Yeah, that's pretty much. I mean, business-wise, yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot.
Right on. So, are there? Yeah, go ahead. If you had something, if there are any comments or questions in the chat, I'm happy to field.
Yeah, I am incredibly grateful that you allowed me to come on here and interview with Ashley as well. Because this has been my road dog for years.
Clearly.
Yeah, since high school. That's years ago.
You won't talk about it. You won't say it.
But yeah. Arundel looked out a few times. A couple of us.
Yeah.
They connected. But no, like I said, not even with the book, but anything that I've been doing, Ashley has been encouraging me to do. I think we've been both watching each other from afar all these years and admiring what each other's done.
Yes.
Incredible family.
Thank you.
Busy household, like I said, but I'm always in awe of how much Ashley is able to produce, because Ashley also works. Like, aside from the things she just named as an entrepreneur, Ashley.
Oh, there's another job on top of this. Actually another job.
It is. It's layers to this, man. I'm telling you.
You know,
because you also said 3 children.
Yes, 3 children. My mom and then my husband. So yeah, it's layers. I try to, but coffee is what like gets me fueled. So it's definitely.
Now I get it.
The grace of God, you know what I'm saying? So yeah. But I'm a consultant too. So I work as a consultant during the day, and it's taxing sometimes for my time. But
and all of these other endeavors are just your side of the after the day. Oh wait. Oh wait, Yipper. In addition to dragging me in the chat, Yipper has a question here about whether you sell hot chocolate. And I thought I heard you that yes. And something about preparing it.
Well, she has there's like a disclaimer about she's only selling it to people who make it right.
Oh.
That's it. I'm so happy you mentioned that. So I would say we may bring it back. So we make hot chocolate like they make back in the day. It's not like you couldn't make it with water. And I find that people were making it with water. And I'm like, you can't make it with water. We put it on the package, like, do not make it with water. Make it with milk, because it only tastes good with milk, because it was built for that. It wasn't built for water. Sorry, I'm glitching. I don't know why my camera's glitching like that. we need to come back out with something. I'm thinking about doing the hot chocolate bombs without hot chocolate, because I think that would help some. But you may find that this fall we may drop it again.
Are any of these vegan? Is it dark chocolate, or is any chance of that?
We do have a milk chocolate. We have a dark chocolate, and then we have a peppermint bark chocolate. So one with like it's real premium good chocolate that we put in there. So that's another thing. Like this ain't this is premium chocolate. So you got to make it right. You got to make it with the milk, because you can't do it with the hot water. And I used to do a little live with those. Like when we dropped it, I would tell people how to make it, because it's important that they know how to make it. And so we may do the bombs, but we do have dark chocolate. We do have milk chocolate, and we do have the one with the peppermint bark and all of that. And it's just high level chocolate. I just want people to enjoy
high level chocolate. I love it.
Yeah, I just at the bar. I want y'all to enjoy good hot chocolate. That's just gonna it bring back memories to like when we were growing up. We made hot chocolate with milk, but times have changed. People are making hot chocolate in a Keurig now. So,
it just doesn't.
Oh, it doesn't do the same. Yeah. But that's how people were making it. And I was like, no, you can't. So once we figure this out, to answer your question, I think we're going to bring it back in the fall, but with the bombs. So it helps a little bit.
What is it you're saying with the what's?
They're like bombs. They're like the balls. So this mold, it's like a mold. You drop it.
Wow.
You drop it in your hot milk so that and then you just stir. So I think it's easier. Even though when we tell people to open the package, I mean, it's simple, but it's not. It's not.
So will you, if not sooner, will you come back and do a demonstration when you're ready, when you all are launching it or relaunching it? Can you come back and show everybody how it's supposed to be done? Can we add that the next time? Have a little.
Absolutely love to. When people send us messages on our website, like, how do I best make my coffee? It makes me happy, because I'm like, yeah, let's make sure you get your best experience. Like, how can I help you? Like, where you live at? Can I come over and teach you how to do it so you don't have a bad experience? I'm all about the coffee experience and the hot chocolate experience. I just don't want, and the reason why I'm big on this, because I have converted a lot of people like who were not coffee drinkers. They were coffee virgins, right? And I was like, and I always ask the background when people say they don't drink coffee, I do a list, like what happened? Did it smell like deceive you? Because sometimes people say, I always like the smell of coffee, but I never like the taste of it. So I'm always doing this checklist. And I never want people who never tried it before to have a bad experience, because they don't forget it. So same thing with our coffee. When people have our coffee, I always try to make sure that their experience as well. And if it's not, I'm like, how can we make this better for you? Like, what are you using? Like, let's go through the checklist. At the end of the day, if you don't like it, you just don't. I'm not trying to convince people to like it, but I want to make sure that they've done the steps to get the best experience. And so,
well, I only went for the one that I was looking for. I have honestly not tried any of your other flavors or anything.
Yeah.
So I will branch out a little bit. Because there was a moment where I didn't re-up fast enough, and I went and got something else.
Yeah.
And it was all right, but it wasn't, it was noticeably not as good. So
Right.
I'm not playing when I'm not playing when I have been happy to meet you and have you come through. And Erica, thanks for putting it together. Of course, Erica knew her. Of course, Erica.
Erica's always encouraging.
Know everybody.
She does, and let me just say, whenever
at the Apple Store in Columbia.
Yeah,
yeah.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Yeah. She said
everybody. Like,
she's like, you Jared from BPM. She said, I know Ricky. She was like, I'm a good friend of Rick. Ricky put me on to that. I said, oh my goodness.
Yeah, she knows everybody. She's a great connector too, which I love, and just authentic. That's what I love. That's what I love about it, because she makes a connection, but definitely an encourager. And we need more people like you, because a lot of times people are like gatekeepers. They won't tell anybody about anything. And so when you have someone like you, you genuinely can make a connection in the community. And so I'm happy to be here, and I'm grateful. Yeah. Anything you ask me for, Erica, I'm gonna be there. I'm gonna try my best. If I can, I'm gonna try my best. So I'm just grateful that you even reached out, and I'm just happy to be here.
Well, we're going to reach back out and regarding the broader platform, but then also this EYL event, we'll have to work out some heathen protocols.
Yes, I would. Let's definitely have a conversation.
I would love to see Christiana and Air Doctor do something together.
That is a good idea.
It is nice. I don't know to what extent he's ever worked with or, mixed with kids, but that would be something I would love to see.
See, she's making a connection again.
I think that's a great idea. I'm wondering if it, could it even be done virtually? At least initially. Is there like, but that's a great idea.
Yeah, well, just let us know. Yeah, I mean,
what's her bedtime?
She chooses 8:30.
Okay, so we'll have to do either a morning show or get Ear Doctor to start. We'll work something out, but I think that's a good idea.
Yeah, she would love that.
All right,
or even Memorial weekend, because there is no bedtime on Sundays that day.
Yeah, she chooses these bedtimes. That's crazy. Yeah, I mean, I'm not that good of a mom where I'm like, y'all in the bed by a certain time. That's not me. she took it upon herself to do that. It made me look good, but she's like, I'm
not that good.
I'm not that kind of mom where my neighbors are. They're like, my kids in the bed. I'm like, oh, well, mine was still running around here. The time I mean, they'll fall at some point. But she'll choose. I mean, whatever time if she knew a time, she will honor that time. So she's pretty good with that.
Yeah, she's a very mature 13-year-old, like mature for her age.
She is.
That's very impressive.
Yeah, thank you. Very disciplined.
Because my kids would have to have just fallen. They would not. They would keep going until they literally just fell over.
Yeah,
and then that would be bedtime.
Same. The rest of my kids do that. I mean, I have no, I can't say that I'm organized like that. They run the house, whatever you fall.
Well, it's clearly working out. So
thank you.
Again, Ashley Graham, Erica, Ricky, Ryan, thank you both very much for this. And anytime, whatever. It's been a pleasure. I look forward to doing it again. And thank you very much for coming through. I'm about to push, on my next order. Get me a t-shirt too. Yeah.
Thank you for love. Thank you for that. I appreciate that.
I wanted to ask I know something we did discuss, but I don't know if that's probably going to be in the show notes. But if you wanted to still do the discount code, we could probably swing back around for the audience, for those tuning in and those in the chat.
Yes, I would love to do that. So before you put your order in, let's make sure we get that discount code together.
I haven't clicked it yet. But what did I miss something? For some reason, I don't remember this part. Did I?
No,
I may have missed.
I talked about it on the side.
Okay.
If they wanted to come on, they said, "Oh, that'd be great," and I can also offer a discount code.
Yeah.
Cool. Just let me know. Okay.
Yeah, we can definitely do that because I think I just like y'all showing love. I really appreciate that, and for me, that's that's a no-brainer. I will be more than happy to do that, and and everybody who listens, I want to make sure we get that out. So I'll definitely get that to you.
So okay. All right. So you're gonna is this something that gets sent to me and that I share, or how does I'm not clear exactly how this works or what it is.
So it would be like a discount code they will put in the checkout. So when they go to checkout, there'll be like a promo code option, and when you put that in, you'll get a percentage off on your coffee order.
Mm-hmm. Are you going to share it now, or are you going to share it after the show?
Let me try. Look, now I got to go into it and do it.
It's no rush. It's all good. I just wanted to make sure I was clear what was happening. You don't have to. Yeah. You're
right. I'm gonna create the code, and then we'll give you the code, and if you can share it. And then they'll get a percentage off, but they'll put it at checkout and the promo code, and they'll take the percentage off.
No, thank you for that. So whoever's here live, just stay tuned and hit refresh in a little while and whenever, and it'll be in the show description. And if you're seeing this later, it's probably already there.
Yeah.
So great. Thank you very much. No, thank you.
No
All right, Ashley, Ricky, thank you very much. This has been great.
Thank you.
Talk to you soon. Take care. Peace, 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 peace. All right, everybody. Again, big shout out to Ashley Graham and Ricky Ryan for coming through. Apologies again for being late. And please do like, share, subscribe. Do all that you can to support the platform and check the show description for all that we talked about in terms of the discount promo code and more about Sweetie's Coffee. As usual, peace if you're willing to fight for it, as Fred Hampton used to say. And I'll catch you next time here at I Mix What I Like. Peace, everybody.
I mix what I like, what I like, what I like, what I like, what I like.
And what do you sacrifice?
Calm, kindness, kinship, love. I've given up all chance at inner peace. I made my mind a sunless space. I share my dreams with ghosts. I wake up every day to an equation I wrote 15 years ago for which there's only one conclusion. I'm damned for what I do. My anger, my ego, my unwillingness to yield, my eagerness to fight, that set me on a path from which there's no escape. I yearn to be a savior against injustice without contemplating the cost, and by the time I look down, there's no longer any ground beneath my feet. What is my sacrifice? I'm condemned to use the tools of my enemy to defeat them. I burn my decency for someone else's future. I burn my life to make a sunrise that I know I'll never see. Now, the ego that started this fight will never have a mirror or an audience or the light of gratitude. So what do I sacrifice? Everything, 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 everything.